Hello everyone, Christian drama fans, Christian movie enthusiasts, fellow believers who've been searching and waiting for our other brothers and sisters in the movie industry to wake up and give us content that both edifies and entertains. Yeah. Hello siblings. So a few weeks ago, Mount Zion announced that the globally successful series Abejoye was being renewed for a 7th season. Yay! I was excited, but then again, I had also forgotten everything that had happened in the previous seasons. So to catch up, I decided to start the series all over and give a review. So yeah, let's start. But before we start, if you're not subscribed to LOTW Network and LOTW Kids, what exactly are you doing? Warning! Warning! If you haven't watched the first season, this review will contain spoilers. So yeah, season 1 opens up with a rather creepy hand attempting to strangle a young boy. We then learn some strange spiritual occurrences have been going on in the home. They've prayed and fasted, but it doesn't seem to work. Gee, I wonder why. Mommy Boyega, who is played by Gloria Mike Bamiloye, hints it could be the work of her father-in-law, whose visit is the harbinger of the series of spiritual events they've been battling.
Series of nightmare and battle may started.
Of course, Bamidele gets upset at this and rises to defend his father. Eventually, the famed harbinger of evil arrives, and truthfully, he seems like the most decent grandfather. Of course, that's until we see his rather sinister side in the exchange between him and his spiritual buddies from Abejoye.
Gbogbo ń tà ń sọ kò yí ọ ọ̀rọ̀ àdóòdẹ tó mú ní ojúbọ ọ̀tẹ̀gbà kò yí ọ àbí.
Abejoye, the grandfather, belongs to an elite spiritual group of people who wield strong power in his hometown. Now, he had earlier promised to relinquish a spiritual object called a gourd. This gourd was famed to bless all who wielded it with good fortune.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé ìdílé tí àdóòdẹ bá ti wà wọ́n máa ń lówó lọ́wọ́ ni wọ́n máa ń ní tẹ̀síwájú ni wọ́n máa ń ní ìgbéga ni. Láti bí ọdún méjì tó sì ti wá wà lórí àga àṣàkóso iná láti wà ń bẹ̀ ọ́ wípé kó o mú lè rí rẹ̀ ṣe.
This kind of reminds me of how the Ark of the Lord blessed the home of Obed-Edom. You can read about that story in 2 Samuel chapter 6. Anyways, Abejoye decides to play a fast one on his group buddies and the battle line gets drawn. Like literally. There's spiritual slaps, chest thumping, incantations, rituals, and all.
Ọmọdé ló ń fàtẹ́gùn ìjì yìí àbí àgbàlagbà omi àtẹ̀yìnsà wọ́n gbogbo wọn padà síbi tó ti ń bọ̀.
Eventually, Abejoye gets kicked out of his son's home and is forced to return shamefully to Nigeria. That's until the family pastor decides to house him. He asks Abejoye if he's interested in a much more superior power.
Ṣé tí ẹ bá rí agbára mìíràn tó ju gbogbo èyí lọ ṣé ẹ gbà?
Alàgbà wọn gbà.
He then introduces him to Jesus and Abejoye accepts Christ. Yay!
Ta ló mọ bíbí Ọlọ́run kan ṣoṣo yìí o?
Jésù Kristi ni òun nìkan ṣoṣo ni ọmọ bíbí Ọlọ́run. Ìríjú Elédùmarè tí a rán sáyé láti gba aráyé là kúrò nínú ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọn. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá gbà á gbọ́, a kò ní dá a lẹ́jọ́.
Season 1 ends with Abejoye forgiving and reuniting with his family, and the stage is set for him, his former buddies, and his family, engulfed in a deep spiritual battle that threatens their very lives. Now let's look at the characters. There's of course Abejoye, the titular character, whose personality is somewhat two-sided. A loving and peaceful father and grandfather who looks after the interest of his family in the best way he knows how. And then there's his boastful, prideful and cheating side amongst his peers. I really like how he gets introduced to Christ. He had gotten himself into a pickle and he needed a superior power to save him. He accepts Jesus and continues worshiping God the way he knows how, through incantations. Eventually, he learns the importance of forgiveness and the right way to pray and worship God. Abejoye was already familiar with the supernatural, he just didn't know the one true God. So when he was introduced to him, it was kind of easy for him to accept. Another character is Bamidele, who I really do not like. But let's face it, there are a lot of Bamideles out there. Family men who bear titles in church, have a head knowledge of God, but their hearts are far from him. He's cheating on his wife with the head of the choir unit. I get it's a Christian movie, but that is not how adulterers greet each other, if you know what I mean.
I cannot divorce my wife.
Just do something. Do something with her. Get rid of her somehow.
The nerve of this adulteress.
You are doing much for us all the time. Much? Yeah. What much am I doing?
Laide is a Christian wife and mom who still battles with taming her tongue. She loves her family and is very protective of them.
And that is the most stupid step you have ever taken in your entire miserable life. Yeah!
Dedun, yes, she's the adulteress, homewrecker, destroyer, and every other bad word that comes to your mind. Oh yeah, did I mention she's married? She left her husband in Nigeria to steal another woman's husband in the United States. There's the pastor. To be honest, I don't really know if they ever actually called his name. They kept saying, Pastor, 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 Pastor. Watching this movie, this pastor played such an important role in leadership and guidance. It was him God used to rescue Abejoye and also help Bamidele and Laide's marriage. So good. Shows the importance of having, a pastor and being planted in a local church and, all of that. Anyways, there's this very beautiful pastor's wife. She didn't talk much, but I did like her acting. And then you have Bamidele and Laide's 3 kids who, to be honest, really didn't act a lot. One kept saying, "Oh, Grandpa knows my name." And I'm like, of course he'll know your name. He's your grandpa. Why won't he? Some of the themes covered in this season were spirituality, which was really high, idolatry, infidelity, family, forgiveness. I really enjoyed this season. I love the focus on building godly values, even though the parents kind of threw those values outside the window. I love the emphasis placed on African values and culture, especially the Yoruba tradition.
Bàtà rẹ̀ á dún kó ká. Ìwúrà, bàtà rẹ̀ á dún kó ká. Bó o bá kàwé rẹ̀, àwọn ọ̀sẹ̀ lè gbé. Bàtà rẹ̀ á dún kó ká.
And of course, the fact that Jesus was given his rightful place. You don't really see this truth mentioned a lot these days in film world. Now that we've looked at what I liked, let's look at what I didn't like. I really did not like the delivery of some of the lines. I mean, no one speaks this way in real life.
You know what it cost me to get the visa processed. Besides, what is getting the visa got to do with all these dreams?
911. Daddy, please, go beg him. Do not start a fire, because the firefighters will come if the fire alarm sounds.
Except for that, I think this season was pretty amazing. It's a very good movie to watch with friends and family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye, siblings.